Hey guys, what's up? Chris Blum here with another video, and today I thought I would do something a little bit different and talk about investing and how I invest. I was reading a recent article the other day talking about all the different brokerage houses that are seeing an influx of capital from first-time investors, so I thought it was as good a time as any to begin talking about it. Without further ado, here is how I invest in the market. So first of all, one thing that I think is super important is investing in yourself first. And so I make sure to set aside a portion of every paycheck. I work as a 1099 independent contractor in commercial real estate, so I don't have a steady paycheck, but every time I get a check that comes in, I put a certain percentage into an account for investing. But if you have a W-2 job, then you could set it up for automatic deposit. And then I have 3 accounts that I use for investing. Number 1, I have an account with Vanguard, which I use for my Roth IRA. So I highly recommend looking into a Roth. It's a tax-advantaged account. You invest into the account with post-tax dollars, so you take your income, you pay taxes on it, and then you contribute that post-tax money into the Roth IRA. It's allowed to grow tax-free, and then when you take the money out, it's also tax-free. And then the other advantage that I like as a young person getting into investing is that at any time you can take your principal out of the Roth IRA without any penalties. So 401k, other accounts, there's a penalty if you take the money out before retirement age. With a Roth IRA, you can contribute up to $6,000 a year, and there are some income limits with that, but for most people starting out, you can contribute up to $6,000 a year, and any of that principal money you can withdraw at any time without penalty, so it almost can become like a emergency fund that is also invested in the market, although I don't recommend investing in the markets with funds you think you're going to need in the immediate future. So, number 1 account is the Vanguard. That's my Roth IRA. Within a Roth IRA, you can have a number of different investments. You can invest in real estate. You can even invest in commodities. I choose to invest in stocks and bonds. And I'm currently reading Benjamin Graham's The Intelligent Investor, which is a great book, good place to get started. And I will be posting a video of my thoughts on the book when I finish it. But for now, basically one of the main points that Benjamin Graham recommends is that everyone invest in a portion of stock and a portion of bonds, and this ratio can depend on how they're feeling about the market. If they think it's overvalued, then you should probably put more money into bonds, which are typically safer and have a more fixed income. Or if you are feeling good about the economy and the growth of the economy, then you can invest more in stocks. And he recommends between 75 and 25%, so you always have at least 25% in one or the other. I don't quite follow that rule. I think I have about 10% in bonds and 90% in stocks in my Roth IRA, and those are held in a series of index funds, which that is a whole nother topic that I can get into in another video, but they're held in index funds, which basically means it's diversified, invested in a bunch of different companies, and that way it is a little bit safer. So that's the number 1 thing I do, is contribute to my Roth IRA. When that is maxed out, and again, it's $6,000 a year, so if you're making monthly contributions, $500 a month can go into your Roth IRA. After that, I have 2 more accounts for investing. The number 1 is an M1 account. I really like the M1 account because you can set up these different portfolios that are then automatically invested in slices. So I have mine invested, again, in a few different index funds. One is the Vanguard Real Estate Fund. I have one in the NASDAQ Index Fund. Another is in foreign stock market funds. So you can choose a number of different funds or a number of different companies, and then you can contribute a certain amount per month. And even if the stock prices would cost more than what you're contributing, it allows you, again, to buy in slices, so over time you can build up shares in those stocks. So number 1 is Vanguard, number 2 is M1. That's where I contribute most of my money. That's over that $500 a month. And then the 3rd account, which is my account for fun investing or speculating, which isn't really investing, but it's my fun account, and that I have with Robinhood. Robinhood is a great app, really good UI, and again, has a number of different features that I like for my investing. And one of them that I really love, especially for my speculating, is that you can actually buy cryptocurrency inside Robinhood with $0 trades. That's the great thing about a number of these apps these days. It used to be that you'd pay an arm and a leg when you wanted to buy stock, which made it a lot harder for people to get into it. But M1, Webull, Robinhood, they all offer free stock trades, and you can even buy slices or fractional shares. M1 offers that, so does Robinhood. So let's say you only have $10 to invest, but you want to invest in a company that costs $100, well, you can buy a tenth of the company. So that's really cool. So in Robinhood, I buy mostly cryptocurrency. Again, it's a very small portion of what I'm investing. The common adage is that you should only invest in what you know. I don't really know cryptocurrency that well, I'm going to be honest, but I do find it fascinating. I think it's an interesting concept. There are a lot of use cases that I think could potentially make cryptocurrency widely adopted, and so I choose to speculate and put a very small amount of my funds into cryptocurrency. In Robinhood, I invest in Bitcoin and Ethereum, and then this is also the place where I invest in individual companies. So M1, I pretty much only invest in funds, or basically buckets that have a lot of different companies in them, so you're investing in a diversified bundle of companies. In Robinhood is where I allow myself to invest in individual companies. So it's where I might own Tesla or Apple, or even younger companies that maybe aren't as established but I think have potential. Robinhood is where I will buy those. And then as I was talking, I realized I lied. I have a fourth account, which is Coinbase. Coinbase is another exchange for cryptocurrency. It is US based and complies with all the SEC regulations, but it does charge fees, which is why I don't like it quite as much as Robinhood. One benefit it does offer is that it has way more coins that you can purchase than Robinhood, which only has a few. So those are the actually four accounts that I use for investing. And again, I recommend that you invest in yourself first. So every time you get a paycheck, whether automatically or you're doing it manually, invest a portion into an account. You can start small, whether it's $5, $10, or a percentage of every check, and try to grow it over time. Number two, use one of the easy accounts like Robinhood, Webull, or M1 that offers free trades and a number of different index funds that you can choose from. And number three is I do recommend you start with index funds. You can invest in the S&P 500, the NASDAQ, the total US stock market, or even global stock markets. But I do recommend that you invest in index funds that diversify your funds and are a little bit safer than taking gambles in individual companies. So that is how I invest. If you enjoyed this video, leave a comment below and subscribe so I can make more content like this.